thing I knew, I was holding a carton of eggs, and I didn't even know how I got them.
Amen.
Yeah.
That's why I don't shop there anymore.
No. Yeah, me neither.
Thanks for the reminder. I need to go grocery
crazy.
shopping.
Anyways, welcome to Dirty Mo Live. I think that was bad. That was a bad one.
Yeah.
That was awful.
We got to work on those.
Andrew Curlin here with Dalton Greco, Travis Rockhold. We're here to talk about the playoffs. Come on. The playoffs.
That famous clip.
Huh?
I forget what coach that guy was. You might know. Playoffs.
Oh, my God.
Playoffs?
It's bothering me. I'll get to it.
His name's like
He's
Bob
with the
something?
Colts.
We talking about playoffs?
No,
Playoffs?
you're thinking practice.
No, I know.
You're thinking, yeah, Allen Iverson.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh. It's bothering me.
I don't know.
Let's keep
We'll
going.
figure it
I'll
out.
think
Chat, tell us who that was. Please. All right.
Anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah. They're finally here. We're going to the playoffs. Darlington this weekend to kick things off, and we finally
Jim
have
Mora.
our who?
Jim Mora.
There you
Okay.
go. We have our 16 drivers to compete for this 2023 championship, and as always, per tradition, every year when the playoffs start, you got to put a grid together.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta call your shot now.
A grid?
Yeah, playoff grid.
A bracket.
No, it was called the playoff grid.
It's not technically a bracket.
Yeah.
But-
It is 100% a bracket.
Listen, I built a bracket. I know what a bracket is. All right? You won't tell me what a bracket is.
Grid?
Yeah, playoff grid.
What do you put an Excel sheet together?
Yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much.
That's it. So we've got ours filled out. We also have in possession Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s and Mike Davis's from the download, if I can read their handwriting correctly. Mike wrote the names out. Dale wrote the numbers. So Dale should be easier
Right.
to because I already
More efficient.
like who is Mike's last person around at 12. Can you read that?
I can't see it.
I'm going to assume it's Harv.
Yeah, Harv. I think
Okay.
it's Harv.
It
It
says
took me a
Harv.
second to figure it out.
Kevin
Harvick.
Harv, ladies and gentlemen.
Kevin Harv. So yeah, we went and we filled our brackets out. We asked you guys to do the same, and you can play along too because we can go round by round,
Yep.
or we can explain our picks throughout. But why don't you guys in the chat? Why don't you type who you have going out in the first round? Let's start the conversation at the round of 16. First 4 drivers out, and then we can continue that conversation as it goes until we get to Champ 4 and Champion, which we have our brackets filled out. And by the way, I think you can go to NASCAR.com and fill those brackets out.
Yeah, there's one where I think you can fill it out potentially. I don't know if you can win stuff or not.
There's one where you can only fill it out week by week, and it's interactive and electronic, and then they have just like a regular playoff grid that you can print. And
yeah, and then one where you can call your shot. And we did the printout ones, and I went to town on taking notes of all
I'm
this.
surprised there's not any like red yarn tying stuff
yeah,
together.
yeah.
We've got one person that's already put his their 4 that aren't going to make it. Caden Smith has Bubba, Blaney, McDowell, and Stenhouse.
Yep.
Someone else
Isaac
said-
has the 34, the 12,
McDowell,
47,
Blaney,
23.
Stenhouse. Yep, Bubba.
Yeah. Okay. So should we just kick it off?
Let's have the full bracket thrown up. The empty
let's put
one.
the full bracket up on the screen, and let's just let's tee up what exactly we're working with here. So I believe it's up on the screen, so you can see round 1, Darlington, Kansas, Bristol. Then in the round of 12, Texas, Talladega, the Roval. Round of 8 is Vegas, Homestead, Martinsville, and then of course our championship race is in Phoenix. You can see the 16 drivers on the left of your screen, and we're going to slowly whittle them down. And I think it's important, like, how did you guys approach the bracket? Was it halfway on a feel thing? Did you look at the 3 specific tracks, or was it a mixture of both? Because I kind of did a mixture of both when I was evaluating who I was going to have in and out.
You go first.
I had a couple that I did a little research and I got bored, and so then I just went for feel after that.
Honestly, I did the exact same thing. I looked at Darlington and went, it's going to take too long. And just went on past that.
Well, actually, I'll admit, I had one person that I was like not going to be in. I was looking for some facts on why he won't, and I was like, actually, I don't have any facts, so I'm going to use him for my feel category.
Okay.
Yeah,
Nice.
it's a little bit of knowledge and feel. Definitely going with my gut.
So who wants to whose bracket do we want to show first? Travis?
We'll go with yours.
Mine? All right.
Let's do Andrews.
We'll throw mine up on the screen, and I guess I'll walk you through
Just walk through your entire bracket.
the entire bracket.
Let's
Yeah.
just start. You just do the first 4.
First 4. Okay.
I want to hear those 4 that aren't going to make it.
All right. Yeah, so my bracket is up on the screen, so you can see the entirety of what I have, but I'll start at least with the first 4 eliminated. I have Tyler Reddick, Ryan Blaney, Michael McDowell, Ricky Stenhouse Jr. I felt like Blaney and McDowell were just two feel things. It's McDowell, while he had some good speed and momentum towards the end, they were both at road course races. And again, I'm not feeling hot on the Fords to begin with. McDowell's a Ford, and that's where I kind of lead in with Blaney. What has he done for me really much this year? I feel like I never really see much of Blaney. Now remember, he's just got to be the 12th best driver to advance into the next round. But it's one of those things where I don't see it happening.
I mean, if you take out Buescher, it's pretty much what have the Fords done all year long, right?
Yeah. Right,
Yeah, I would
exactly.
agree. I mean,
Yeah.
the 6 has been consistent, but he just hasn't won.
Yeah.
I took Tyler Reddick out, and this is kind of where it was halfway between a field thing, and I looked at the 3 tracks. So how I evaluated it was I looked at the Darlington and Kansas races from this earlier this year and the Bristol night race from last year. I added up all their results, and I averaged them. Tyler Reddick, out
What's
of
the
those
math?
last 3 races, has an average finish of 18.6 at those tracks in terms of last finish there. So that's why he's eliminated. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., while I like him a lot at Bristol, same type of thing. Average finish in 19.3 in terms of those last 3 races. So that's why I have the 47 going out as well.
I know we're just talking about your first 4,
Christina says she agrees with my champ.
but
four.
Christina
I appreciate
Giddings.
that. How about this? Why don't we go to your guys' brackets? You explain your first 4 out, and then we can keep going.
Yep.
Yeah? So, Dalton, why don't you explain your first 4 out in your bracket?
All right, so I obviously went, like I said, a little bit of stat, a little bit of feel. At the end of it, I just kind of went with my gut, and McDowell, I would say him and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. are kind of the Cinderella stories of this group. Would I love to see them continue on? Yes, but I just don't know that at Darlington, Kansas, and Bristol that McDowell and Stenhouse are going to do super well.
Mm-hmm.
I know Ricky has some speed at Bristol, but just not compared to the rest of the field above them. And then between Harvick and Bubba, I had Harvick and Bubba also not making it past the first round. I just don't think that there's enough room for that many Toyotas up there in the top. And unfortunately, I know 2311 is going to be fast at Kansas for sure. But I think that Tyler Reddick is going to get the nod there over Bubba. And so that's I kind of was like, I'm going to take one 2311 car out in the first round. I kind of
It's going to be Bubba.
I just went with Bubba.
Yeah.
It really could be either. And then Harvick, I don't know, just kind of the same thing we were talking
Harv.
about. Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Harv.
Yeah. The same thing we were talking about with the Fords. Just not a ton of speed everywhere. They're obviously good at drafting packs or drafting tracks. But Darlington, Kansas, Bristol, I just don't see them getting up and going. So
Well, and to your point, on the Tuesday episode of the Download, Mike was talking about how after the race on Saturday, Harvick was very just like not willing to really say what he expects in the playoffs. Like, it's just a weird feeling right now.
yeah, I don't want to say he's not bought in because that's not true. Harvick is, I mean, a killer behind
But
the
he could
wheel.
just be frustrated with
there's
car.
just something off.
Here's the only interesting thing. At least with Harvick at Darlington and Kansas this year, 2nd at Darlington, 11th at Kansas, when you're thinking about racing against 16 people, those aren't terrible results.
No.
10th at the Bristol night race last year. Again, how much can you factor the difference of 1 year? You take it as you like. At least for me, the number I had, average finish of those last 3 races at each of those tracks, 7.6, the
Right.
best of the drivers I was in question of. That's
What
why I advanced him.
a lot of what I went with too in the rest of my bracket was seniority. I think in a
Yeah.
lot of these kind of
And that's
tournament
important.
brackets, like knowing, just being wiser is a lot better. But I don't think that Harvick overcomes his equipment.
I do have an interesting stat to play devil's advocate against myself here on Harvick. Championship 4, he's made it 5 times, most recently in 2019. And then ever since then, year by year, has gotten worse. 2019 championship 4. Then in 2020 eliminated. He only made it as far as the round of 8. Then 2021 only made it as far as the round of 12. And then in 2022 eliminated after the first round in the round of 16. So he has just progressively, year by year, gotten one round worse, which is something interesting for Harvick. Can he turn it around with the Fords and the struggles of Stewart-Haas Racing? I think is going to be the important thing to see.
I've got a question for you. It's actually from Eric Davis in the chat. Larson not in the round of 8 for you?
Man, I have not seen anything from Larson that makes me confident that he's going to make it past the round of 8.
I will say, to your point, he can because at times he's number 1, but he's got a lot of DNFs and a lot of 30s.
Larson is the most talented guy in the field right now to hold a steering wheel, but talent isn't going to necessarily get you into the next round. You've got to get lucky. You've got to catch some breaks. You've got to win. Yeah, it's. I don't know. That 24 team is.
You mean the 4 team?
No, I'm saying the 24 team. That's the Hendrick team.
Oh yeah.
Someone said, I see that you have Logano going, I think, to your championship 4. Not to get too far ahead of you, but someone in the chat said that once Logano gets hot around that round of 8.
Exactly.
And I think I can agree with that. I have my own reasons
and
against
the
that.
Chief is the person that commented that.
Hey,
Nice.
NASCAR's a sport of runs.
There you go.
And Logano might go on a run.
Yeah. Travis, let's take a look at your bracket.
So I'm pretty sure that all of us have 2, the same 2. And I'm worried that so I have McDowell and Stenhouse not advancing.
Yeah.
And we all have that, right?
It's just
So I'm a little concerned that we're
maybe they might. Yeah.
One of them is going to get through.
Yeah.
And then I have Chastain and Blaney.
So Blaney, I can obviously agree with. Yeah.
So Blaney, in the last 11 races, he said 620 or worse. So that goes to the point of you just got to be up there. And there's times where he's not. Now, granted, listen, he was leading last week and he did nothing wrong and got wrecked. So, but that's how racing goes. Sometimes it's not. You have to just be lucky. Chastain, after Nashville, he said 1 top 10.
Yeah, I mean that's fair.
Now the one thing that I'm curious, and I asked Denny about this on the podcast this week on Action Detrimental, does he expect Ross to kind of revert back to pre-Justin Marks having a conversation?
Yeah.
He said right now he wouldn't have to because he just can be himself. But I'm curious if Ross is like, you know what, I'm in the playoffs. I've been trying to be Mr. Nice Guy, and this is where it got me. Screw it. We're going back to old ways, and Yeah,
I don't know. I have Ross going past the first round, but not that much further. So I can agree with you. I don't, to a degree, I don't know how much momentum can carry Ross Chastain through these first couple of races. It's very much what has he done for me the last couple of months, and I really haven't seen him much.
Here's my argument about Ross in this first round.
Okay.
Is we all remember where was the race where he got told to calm down?
Where was it? I can't remember.
Darlington. And he was leading with Kyle Larson, and they took each other out. And then that's when Hendrick was like, I'm tired of my cars getting wrecked. And ever since then. But that was his last racetrack where he was, other than, I mean, he won after that, obviously. But that was really the last one where he was on this meteoric rise. I
love Randy Cook said it's an odd number year. Logano won't do well. Next year he'll be back in the championship 4.
Oh, we have a donation.
Dang, I've never seen that. So, Dalton, your point on with Larson, and it's Blaney who hasn't done anything going into the round of 8.
He said if I have Blaney going on.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, okay, so that's fair. If my argument is that Larson hasn't done anything to make me, want to pick him to go past, but I have Blaney in my round of 8.
Yeah.
My argument there is, I think that Roger Penske is gonna, I don't know if there's a knob they can turn to make things better for them, but I just don't think Roger Penske is gonna go
mess
quietly
with the louvers.
Yeah,
that's the knob.
Good.
You might have read
also,
this.
thanks for the donation, by the way.
I
didn't know you could do that. But
I never knew you could do
awesome.
that.
We'll take it.
Did you read,
we'll read them.
A Harvick Darlington stat? I might have missed it. I want to read this if not on. So Piper on the chat says Harvick has 13 top 6 finishes in the last 15 Darlington races.
Yeah. So again, that goes into the argument of, sure, maybe Harvick and Stewart-Haas across the board maybe might not be hot, but you look at these 3 tracks, Harvick is pretty decent, especially at Darlington. He's got that historic being good at these 3 tracks in his resume.
So to your point, Dirty Modeau is going to tape tomorrow I have in my hands the predictor model. Harvick is 6th in the model.
Yeah.
Wow.
Wow. Let's go to
I was gonna say, who did they have?
let's go to Mike's eliminated out of the first round. He has Bubba Wallace, Tyler Reddick, Michael McDowell, and Ryan Blaney. So he's got both 2311 cars.
Denny's not gonna be happy
McDowell,
with that.
Blaney out in the first round. Dale has McDowell, Chastain, Stenhouse, and Bubba eliminated in the first round.
Okay, so he's having Harv go on.
He has Harv go on. Harv.
Harv.
Why don't we go to the round of 12 into the round of 8, shall we? Back to me here.
Yep, let's go back to you.
All right, so we can pull my bracket back up. Let's see. We're talking Texas, Talladega, Charlotte. Out of those 3 tracks, I have Chastain eliminated, Joey Logano eliminated, Kevin Harvick, and Bubba Wallace. That's where I think their luck runs out. My biggest thing for me was looking at how far did the RFK cars go. That was my biggest thing. Buescher and Keselowski both advanced through my round of 8, and here's why. I feel like when one of the RFK cars has run well this year, the other has as well. So I looked at Chris Buescher's track record, and again, this is not Keselowski's, but this is just this season alone. Because we have Talladega. We have a drafting track, as we referenced on the download yesterday. 4th in the Daytona 500, 3rd at Talladega, 1st at Daytona. That's an average finish this year of 2.66. But we also have the Roval in the same round, which is also considered a wild card. His average finish at all the road courses this year is 8th. Chris Buescher.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you. How much do you think momentum matters in a sport like NASCAR?
I think it matters a fair amount. Feel like if Buescher went on this run the beginning of the season and then cooled off, maybe I wouldn't be as confident advancing him as far as I am. But now that they're starting to figure something out and RFK is putting together some wins heading into it, I feel decently confident about it.
Does the fact that the Fords are the best at staying together and RFK does it even, the best, does it worry you that if something bad happens, then that you're going to lose both of those people, both drivers?
Yeah, it could bite me. Again, I'm packaging them up as a package deal. I think they can run isolated of each other. If I had to pick one over the other, I feel really good about advancing Chris Buescher into my round of 8 over Keselowski.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. That's my argument for advancing the Fords. Now, I did eliminate Joey Logano, which could be kind of a bold move.
So that's where I would disagree with you that seniority is going to come into play here. And Joey, even though he's honestly a lot younger than we think he actually is, he just has that experience over someone like a Chris Buescher.
So Matthew Howard said the 17 won't make it past the round of 12 in the 6-out first round.
Interesting. So they
Also,
disagree.
Shout out to Esteban from Chile.
Yeah, I saw from Chile.
That's so cool.
That is very cool.
Um,
All right, Dalton, let's pull up your round of 12, shall we?
While we're pulling it up, let me ask you guys a quick question. Jay brought this up. What about Larson, and does he retaliate to Denny in the playoffs and screw things up there?
I don't think so.
I don't know.
Larson's
'cause
not
they both
that
have
guy.
something to lose. They both have something to lose.
That's the thing is it's not worth, unless Larson is eliminated.
Yeah, Larson's not that
But I
guy.
then don't think that
I
don't think he would screw up Denny's chance at a championship.
I think if it happens, if Denny does something during one of these races, he would retaliate during that race. I don't think he carries it over. Into
I think if
another.
anything, Larson would carry it over to next,
Maybe
if he didn't do it now,
the Clash just
I
send him-
just don't think that he's they're still friends, and I think he understands what a
Yeah.
championship means.
Larson just doesn't have that temperament.
All right,
But to your
Dalton,
bracket.
let's
All
throw
right,
yours
sorry for the
back up.
distraction.
Oh no, you're fine.
Jeez.
All right. Well, we know that Larson doesn't make it out of my round of 12. The other ones that don't are Christopher Bell, Ross Chastain, and Brad Keselowski. And I believe my belief here again is kind of playing the probability. I don't know, like I did with 2311. I don't think 2 RFK cars are going to make it to the round of 8. I think that Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Denny, those kind of guys are kind of untouchable. I'm not saying that they could not, it's impossible
They've
for
been
them to not make it.
steady at
But
it.
it's just so
Especially
consistent.
Martin.
I really, really like Chris Buescher. I think he's really gonna. I don't know. I think he's gonna continue this hot streak he's on.
Yeah.
I don't think this is a fluke. I really don't.
I like Chris Buescher a lot. In terms, I want to ask you about Tyler Reddick here because you've got Tyler Reddick going way further than I would have had. In addition to Ryan Blaney as well. Thoughts on like what do you see in Tyler Reddick in the playoffs, especially making it into your round of 8? It looks like
Reddick has had a few really good races where a pit stop or a penalty or something caused
stopped him.
And I think that the 23-11 is gonna buckle down a little bit. I don't think it's going to be both teams. I think one team is just going to kind of edge out the other. And I think Reddick is a phenomenal race car driver. I think he's got all the talent in the world. I think he's going to go on a run. He's had a little bit of a rough patch, but this is his time to shine. And I kind of believe in a almost like a way of it being too perfect for it to work for him. And I think that's what edges him out. If I had to pick him, if I pit him against the people who I had out, Larson I just don't think does good at Talladega. Texas is a kind of a wild card. Charlotte, the Roval, obviously he's decent at road courses, but I don't think he's necessarily better than a Byron or a Truex or a Hamlin. So I don't pick him. Christopher Bell I just don't think has the experience. I would 100% pick Reddick over Chastain right now. And I'm just going probability over just not including a second RFK car in the round of 8.
Cameron in the chat said Reddick at Kansas. I mean, the 2311 cars at Kansas are fantastic. Yeah. He said it's going to be tough beating Reddick at the Roval, too. So I could see that argument.
Right.
For me, with Tyler Reddick, I feel like going into the playoffs, again, you talk about that feel thing. I had a great feeling about Reddick last year. And he had, I feel like, a lot more momentum last year, more good things going on. I think a few more wins than he has going into this year. And he finished 14th in the standings. The year before finished 13th, and that was his career best in the playoffs.
Right.
I just feel like in a year where I feel like I've heard of him less, he's not going to outdo what he's done in better years. That's where I stand, but again, I'm going to be proven wrong.
I feel like
a handful of times, but that's where I stand on it.
Yeah, I feel like he's chipping away. I think he's slowly starting to become one of the big players in the sport.
And shout out to Nigel from the UK. He's Reddick or Buescher, who he's rooting for. And then we got another UK person in here too. I'm trying to find.
Dirty Mo Live is worldwide.
Kyle. I can't pronounce his last name.
Cool.
The other guy.
Very cool. Do you guys think Kyle Busch will get it back together after all those recent bad finishes? That question comes from Chronic.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's got, for lack of a better term, he's got that dog in him. I don't think that you can count Kyle Busch out.
I mean, I have him going to my round of 8. So, yeah. Travis, let's get to yours.
Missing out next is, sorry, Denny, is Bubba's not making it. Then Harvick, Logano, and Bell. I think Bell has recently just kind of been that something's off. Really hasn't been.
Bell was one of those guys. I didn't know where to put him.
It feels like he's out of place.
I understand that. Well, like last year, would you have guessed he would have gone to the championship for? Like
no.
I feel like, and Christopher Bell. Let's see. Last year, he won at the Roval to race his way in, and Martinsville again to race his way in, and 2 kind of shocking victories. So I feel like he's gonna be a wild card again this year. But you don't think he's gonna make it too far, Travis?
No, I just. But it's like he's good, but then you're looking like Byron, Truex, Hamlin. Like I already have them penciled in large, so it's like he's good, but it's just like something seems off this year, and so like. But to your point with the 2311, they're both in now, and you wonder like if that building's all of a sudden like stress free. Like you wonder what kind of just like pep in their step they might have going into these next few races, and if they could get some magic going, watch out.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, let's talk about let's see. Mike's picks eliminated after the round of 12. Busch, Harv, Logano, and Larson.
Oh, Harv.
And then Dale eliminated the 6 of Keselowski, Kyle Busch, Tyler Reddick, and Harvick. So I feel like we can, across the board, almost agree on Kevin Harvick.
Yeah.
Almost. Sweet. Okay, let's get into our round of 8, going into the championship for And we'll run it back with me here. Let's see. Who do I have going into the championship 4? The Byron Truex Hamlin combo is gonna be hard to beat.
I was gonna say we don't need to put them up.
And we don't even need to debate that.
No.
Byron Truex, Hamlin, we all three have those.
So it's a matter of that 4th driver, I feel like.
Yes.
Who do you have?
I have Kyle Larson.
Me too.
And you take a look, and again, this is where I went back and I looked at Vegas from this year, Homestead from last year, and Martinsville from earlier this year. Holy cow, does Kyle Larson have a great track record at all 3 of those tracks.
That's fair.
Second at Vegas. He won Homestead. He basically owns the top line at Homestead. And he won Martinsville. That's an average finish of 1.33 the last time he was at all 3 of those racetracks. Kyle Larson's my 4th driver.
That's a great argument. I think that second round is too tough for him to get through.
Yeah.
So that's why if you swap these, if Vegas, Homestead, and Martinsville was the round of 12, I have Larson advancing 100%. But it's that round before it that I don't. So I instead put Logano in there. I don't think that the guy who won the championship last year is just going to fall off.
So do you think he wins a race then here? Like, how do you think he?
I think he could. Yeah, I think he wins Vegas. He's great at Vegas.
Speaking of Vegas.
Oh, yeah, it's a perfect time to plug.
Don't we have something going on at Vegas?
We do have something going on in Vegas. Why don't we talk about it before we get to our Championship 4 predictions, shall we? As soon as I find my notes so I can officially tell you guys all about this. This is pretty cool. We have a live show.
Yeah.
In Vegas. Like, you're buying tickets to this thing. It's not part of the racetrack experience, but it can be. But you're going to see a show in Las Vegas. Dale and Mike will be there with the download. The guys from DBC will be opening for Dirty Mo Live. Dale Jr.
We're letting DBC
Westgate
out in Vegas.
They're not our responsibility. That's not. I don't. Look, I just post.
They're
stuff
my
on social
responsibility.
media.
I'm the producer of that
Who
show.
said let's take DVC to Vegas? How did that get
man.
approved?
This is really a cool thing, though, and
It's like a live show.
yeah, this is. You've seen podcasts do live shows before. This one's bigger and badder because you don't have one, you have 2 on the same stage with Dale Jr. It's almost like a boxing match. You have like an undercard and a title card. It's so cool. The packages that they're putting together, that Westgate's putting together. So, like, if you want to go to Vegas, if you're just looking for a reason to go.
For the ultimate NASCAR and Vegas experience.
If you're looking for a reason to go, you should call them and see if you qualify for the VVIP or the VIP, because the prices that they're asking are so. If I wasn't working here, I'd consider going.
And you got to jump on that quick, Dalton, because you mentioned the VVIP packages. They're almost sold out.
Yeah.
So
we know how fast the Ultimate Experience in Bristol sold out.
You got to go and get on this thing quick. You can visit dirtymomedia.com/live to check out more information on Dirty Mo Live, Dale Jr. and Friends. It's Friday, October 13th at the Westgate Las Vegas Resort and Casino. And we have heard a handful of ideas of what this show is going to look like. There are going to be more brainstorm meetings just to really fine-tune the show. I'm going to jump on one tomorrow.
Yep.
It sounds so cool.
Yeah.
It sounds so cool.
I would love to.
This is going to be unlike anything we've ever done before.
Yeah, it's an unprecedented thing that we're doing. So
Yeah.
For Dirty Mo Media. So be on the lookout for that. Do we want to hop back in?
We got to get moving. We got plans
Yes.
here in like 12 minutes.
We do. We got to go celebrate a junior motorsports victory here shortly. Let's get to our Championship 4 picks real quick.
Well, we know who
and
they are.
and we'll talk champions too.
Yeah.
Let's explain our champions. Yeah, let's do that. For me, on my bracket, William Byron captures his first career Cup Series title this year.
I respect that.
And I'm gonna give you a stat that I'm going to give you this stat, and I was surprised when I read it earlier. Byron, in the last 10 races of the season, has never won a race in the playoffs or in that playoffs era. But when has he ever entered the playoffs as the number 1 seed? When has he ever had a season like this before? Right. Also, Byron at Phoenix, he won it this year. and last year finished 6th at that race.
Yep.
So he's got the speed at the track he needs to be fast at. He's having an unbelievable year. William Byron, my champion. I feel like that's enough argument I gotta have.
All right. I respect that. I think that
But you're wrong.
Byron, yeah, I think that Byron is man, he's got a boatload of talent. He's got a great team behind him.
Like boatload, like
John-
a pontoon or a John boat, or what kind of boatload?
John in the
pontoon is
chat.
good.
John
Yeah.
in the chat says
A new
Byron. He feels like Byron may have peaked too early, but we'll see. I don't
mean,
know.
He's been,
It's
he's
been
had a couple,
this steady.
Yeah,
I feel like.
Yeah. And a lot of these tracks that are kind of go his way. However, on my bracket, I talked about seniority. The oldest guy in my Final Four. I think he takes it. He's the king of the short tracks this year, Martin Truex Jr.
Mm.
Yep.
See, I could see that too.
Yep.
Again, also having a fantastic year.
I just think he's like on this wave, man. I think he is riding this wave.
If he wins, he should just get out of his fire suit and leave the fire suit on the track and be like, I actually retire.
Yeah, exactly. I think he's the one guy out there that seems like it's just fun. Everybody has said this year, he's just having fun.
This has been him the entire year.
Yep, just staying up at the top.
There's no
Yep.
bad. There's like
Nope.
it's just. Before I get to mine, we had somebody say, "Do we think there'll be some non-winners for this?" Yeah, last year the first 3 races were won by non-playoff drivers.
Yeah, I
That
could
was
100% see
surprising.
that.
Someone said, Zelda Racer said, they can't trust my grid when I have Chastain going further than Ryan Blaney.
Quickly before I give my 4,
Ryan Blaney's in a Ford. That's why I can't trust him this year.
Cavante wants to know what's Junior's Final 4.
Let's see. That's right. Dale Jr. and Mike's. Let's start with Junior's. Junior has Truex, Denny Hamlin, William Byron, and Ryan Blaney in his championship form.
Blaney winning, right?
Blaney winning.
Which was his that was his
That was
OG
his
pick.
original.
Yes,
He did that at the beginning of the season. It's like, I can't change it.
Yeah.
So we're like, okay. Mike Davis has Byron, Truex, Hamlin, Keselowski, Denny Hamlin is your champion. Those are that's the cast of the download. Travis, let's get to yours real quick.
I don't often say that Mike Davis is smart. I'm gonna say it here. He has got the correct winner.
You
Denny
don't often say that your boss is smart.
No, I'm Team Tiff.
Sounds like a tip problem.
I'm going with Denny Hamlin, man. I think, he's been snake bitten.
I wonder why.
Because he's
You-
been really good this year.
Oh, you produce a show.
I mean, he's been in the
Don't you?
he's been in the
Yeah.
championship round. What? 4 of the
bunch.
last 5 years.
Yeah, a lot.
Like,
Yeah.
it's his time. I think.
I think if there's a year where he's going to do it, it's this year.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just really like that 19.
I saw a few comments. I know we got to go quickly.
We're good. We got like 8 minutes.
I
gotta
saw
read
a
some
few
stuff.
comments. There was a fan from Canada that said if Bowman or Chase were in the playoffs, how far would they make it? Which leads into Cameron's comment. Chase will for sure win a race.
What if
this
he
year.
wins this weekend?
Chase is going to win the Roval.
That would be crazy if he won Darlington.
That
Just
would be
one
yeah.
race too short for Chase Elliott.
I think Chase is going to win the Roval.
I was there when he won the Roval a few years ago,
And is that
I
the one
think
where
Chase-
Harvick?
where he wrecked at the
And,
beginning.
yeah, and Harvick wrecked him. I was at that race too. It was like we just crossed paths.
What if we were like right next to each
We
other?
could have been. I was on the front stretch, like
Oh.
checkered flag. I got tickets for free.
I was in a
That
suite.
says something about NASCAR fans. We walked up. We didn't have tickets. We were about to buy them. And this couple comes up and goes, "Hey, you guys want tickets?" We're like, "Yeah." Like, we got 2 checkered flag.
I was in the air.
or start finish line.
I was in the air condition.
Yeah, well,
Anthony
I'm a
says,
true fan.
Anthony says Kyle Busch will win Darlington.
I could see that.
Let's see. Yeah, that's it. We have all this on record now.
Yep.
There's no going back. These are the picks we're sticking with.
All right, I'm gonna make this with the caveats to protect me a little. If who do you want to win? Not you think's gonna win. Who do you want to win? I'm not gonna say Denny. Can't say Denny for me at least.
Me, I will say Denny.
I will also say Denny.
I feel like I have been at championship races. I can't remember the year where I was so certain this is Denny's year.
Mm-hmm.
And then he didn't end up happening. And then there were other years. This has got to be Denny's year. And it never happened. He's one of those drivers that I feel like deserves a championship that doesn't have one. He's on the brink of it. I think it'd be cool to see Denny Hamlin as a champion.
I think, like I said, if he has a year where he can do it, it's this year. I also would love to see Byron. I just really like that guy. I don't know. He's so nice.
Mine would be Blaney.
I would also like to see Blaney.
Blaney would be crazy.
A Busher, a Kyle
Like
Busch.
Blaney's
I
just
mean,
a cool dude that like. I don't know. I think a championship would just change how everybody kind of views.
I will say the ripple effect of like an old school earlier this year Chastain just blowing through the playoffs and winning the championship. The stories afterwards would just, I don't know. I think that would be awesome.
A Ross Chastain championship. I mean, he came within hundreds of feet last year of almost winning that title.
Right.
Imagine if he would have won it last year.
Yep.
Some pretty crazy stuff. Well, hey, I see a bunch of people in the chat. Thank you guys for tuning along.
Let's give a shout out to everyone in Florida and Georgia.
Be safe, man.
Hurricane Idalia. Hurricane's nothing to mess with. We had a fan of ours.
We heard from Martha.
From
we heard from Martha in Miami. And
yes,
if you are a Dirty Mo Media fan, you know
who
Martha
Miami is.
From Miami. She comments,
Surprised
participates in a
lot.
Right now. We hope you're doing well, Martha in Miami. And we've got a newsletter too.
Yes.
If you haven't checked it out, you got to go check it out. It's on our website, dirtymomedia.com. It'll pop up as soon as you open the page. It will be there. But if it doesn't pop up, because sometimes for some reason I open it up on the website, it doesn't pop up for me, you can go and you can sign up at any time. Just go straight to dirtymomedia.com/contact to sign up, and that's the best way to stay in the loop for what we have coming out, because we have a lot of exciting stuff on the Dirty Mo Media radar, including a few cool new partners.
Yeah.
And one that DBC has taken by storm, and Casey needs to work on reading this phone number, but Birch Gold Group and DraftKings have jumped on our Dirty Mo Media platforms in a huge way. You know, we often talk about support the sport and support the people who support us. These are two fantastic groups that have come on board and have really supported us, and we want you guys to do the same.
And as a fan of all sports, I love having DraftKings as a partner with us, because football's coming, and
it's here. It ain't coming. It's here.
But a really cool thing we can do there, if you download their app and use any of the codes from our shows like DJD, DBC, or Denny.
Use the code DBC.
Or,
Denny.
Or
Denny.
Or I'll be the DJD guy here.
989898.
But you can download their app, and they give you free money to bet with.
Yeah.
So,
it's like if you put down like $5, you get $200 back.
I think it was
bonus bets.
$200 in bonus bets. You bring $150 bonus bets. I mean, like, that's crazy.
Yep.
Dirty Modell will be coming out tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah,
Dirty
and make sure you, again, text DBC to 989898. That's the important number, 989898. Text DBC.
I gotta go drink some beers. Celebrate with Justin.
And that's what's important. But anyways, the show's out this week. Action's Detrimental. DBC. Travis is going to go drink some beer.
The guy can't
You
even
and me,
wait.
Dalton. Yeah, he can't wait.
Oh, my
we got the
gosh.
beer toast coming. Action's Detrimental, DBC. Those shows are out right now. Speed Streets is going to be dropping later today. Dirty Mo Doe, they tape tomorrow. The final episode of Becoming Earnhardt will be dropping tomorrow.
Yes.
It's a round table.
With Kay and Kathy and Doug Reichert, I believe. So
Holy cow.
yeah, those are
cool.
You want to know who was there for the '79 season? It was those three.
It's everyone in the same room.
Yep.
That is going to be really
that's
cool
gonna be a really neat
to listen
thing.
to. And hey, we got Next Level out with I'm hosting that show with Shane Beamer. We went to Columbia, South Carolina to talk to the head coach of the Gamecocks football team, and let me tell you, it was so cool being immersed in that environment, to be able to talk and chat with him and really get inside the mind of one of the most unique coaches in college football. We dropped a teaser, which looks fantastic. Shout out to Dustin, who's sitting in the
Control room
right now, who edited that. It looks fantastic. We're going to be dropping those videos out, I believe, this week and into next week.
Yep. Videos and podcast should be coming out this week. So, man, I'm so excited for some of the stuff you've got going on with Next Level.
Yeah,
I will say
we're working on a guest right now. That's going to be really cool.
When I think that you can't top, like, Mario and you just do. You just keep top. So, man, I'm super excited for it.
Everyone's special in their own reasons, and we've got some cool ones coming up. But anyways,
let's get out of
continue
here.
to send us your brackets. We're interested in looking at them, and may the playoffs begin. We'll see y'all later.
See ya.